Most things that human beings do are not done consciously, unfortunately. It is mostly compulsively done, and that is the whole problem with humanity. With the level of intelligence and competence that we have, the moment we function compulsively, we become destructive. If you become conscious, naturally you will curtail so many of your actions because they are absolutely unnecessary. See, everybody knows what is needed in the world. The most important thing needed is, right now, we need pleasant human beings. Where should it start? With yourself. At least you become peaceful, joyful, loving, at least this much you become. Rest we will see what to do. Because there's only one problem on the planet, human being, isn't it? Human being is the flower of evolution, the peak of evolution. In terms of life, the heap of life that is there from microbial life to complex manifestation of life on this planet, you are on top of the world. But human beings are not experiencing their life like they are on top of the world. They are in the depths of misery compared to any other creature. A human being is miserable if he doesn't have food. If you give him food, he will feed his misery further. Simply because for all other creatures, nature has fixed their way of being. Nature has fixed how they should be, how a grasshopper should be, how a tiger should be, how an elephant should be. Nature has fixed at least 90% of their life. Only 10% latitude may be there for individual animals to find some expression for themselves. But in the case of a human being comes largely unformed. Only 10% is fixed, 90% is left loose. This is what human beings are suffering. Human beings are not suffering their bondage, human beings are suffering their freedom. You are free to make yourself whichever way you want. See, no other creature on the planet is referred to as a being, only you are referred to as a being. People have given up how to be pleasant here. They are trying to export themselves somewhere, and there are advertisements saying somewhere up there is a heaven where the utmost pleasantness will happen, peace will happen, joy will happen, bliss will happen, love will happen, everything is up there. This is because you have given up that you could be pleasant here. So if you export everything that's wonderful about a human being to another place, the world doesn't become better. We need to understand that whatever qualities that you're ascribing to God and whatever else that you have imagined in your mind, these are all qualities which are very essential for a human being to live a sensible life on this planet. So everybody knows this, that they need to be pleasant. It is not an idea or a philosophy, it is a longing. Life is longing to be experiencing life pleasantly, isn't it? There was one young man running around like his tail is on fire. Then I asked, hey, what are you up to? He says, Sadhguru, I want to earn $1 billion, $1 billion. I said, you don't worry, tomorrow I'll give you $1 billion. Really, Sadhguru, you will give me $1 billion? Yes, I will give you $1 billion. He had 8 of his friends with him. I said, see these 8 guys, I'm going to give each one of them $10 billion and I'll give you $1 billion. So, Sadhguru, why they're getting 10? Arey, your life's ambition was only to get $1 billion. What are you complaining about? The problem is, if everybody else has it, you cannot enjoy it. So you have a sickness. You only enjoy other people's failures. Right from kindergarten school, you have been taught this, you must be number one. Then what must be the others? What must the other children be? They must be all below you. So you always been taught that joy and happiness is always about enjoying other people's failures, other people's incapabilities. This is not joy, this is sickness. If you get rid of this sickness, everything will be fine.
Now, I've heard you talk about time and energy in a different way, and it's really impacted me. So what can you offer those who are worried about wasting time?
If you're against wasting time, that means you're against meditation. Time is not something that you use. Time is the basis of your life. Your life is time. So, should you necessarily do something? That's an individual choice. Time is a very relative experience. On a given day, you're very joyful. Have you noticed on that day, 24 hours, poof, went off like a moment. Another day, you're miserable or depressed, 24 hours feels like 10,000 years. So only miserable people can have a long life. So those miserable people raise all these kind of questions and make it like it's some great philosophy. Life is not a philosophy. Philosophy is a silly explanation to a life which is a phenomena beyond all explanations. You can only experience this. You can't deduct it into your philosophy. The moment you deduct it into your philosophy, you become a constipated life. That means it happens little by little. It doesn't happen like an explosion.
What do you think it is that's getting in the way of people's potential?
Well, most things that human beings do are not done consciously, unfortunately. It is mostly compulsively done, and that is the whole problem with humanity. With the level of intelligence and competence that we have, the moment we function compulsively, we become destructive. If you become conscious, naturally you will curtail so many of your actions because they are absolutely unnecessary. Either you're trying to be better than somebody, which you can never be, and or you're trying to do something in competition with the rest of the world, wanting to prove some nonsense that nobody is convinced about anyway. And all these countless number of people who existed on this planet before you and me, all those idiots also were doing the same thing. If life is a race, what is the goal? You must get to the finish line faster than others. Finish line is death. So if you want to win the race, you must go ahead of me, please don't do that. I am older than you, let me go first, okay? So, this whole nonsense about wanting to be better than somebody is happening because you have not found any sense of profoundness in your own existence. If you pay enough attention to life, then you will see, when I say life, life is an explosion happening all around you. When people use the word life, they are talking about their work, they're talking about their family, their relationships, their wealth, their money. No, these are all accessories, frills to life. So let's not think too much about ourselves. If we understand the context of our existence, we are just a small pop-up on this planet and will pop out. If we know this, keeping your life pleasant, profound, if necessary in action, impactful, that is a choice. But keeping yourself pleasant and making the experience of life profound, whether you do it with activity or without activity, that's an individual choice. But to do it without activity is much harder than to do it with activity. Most people who are lazy are also bitter about something. There is no sense of profoundness to their life, they always feel insufficient. That's not the way to live. If you're very pleasant and you have a profound experience of life, you have a right to do nothing, absolutely nothing.